has a background in cybersecurity awareness and threat intelligence, who is on the Forbes 30 under 30 list for the work that I've done helping thousands of parents protect their kids online. And honestly, I would believe, genuinely speaking, one of the most important aspects is that I experience the digital age and the internet and growing up in that age. And I've experienced online grooming. And the number one way kids are targeted or groomed online is connection, is friendship, is seeing that they can get in between the kid and themselves, the kid and their parents, their kids and the loved ones, the kids and a trusted adult. That's genuinely the number one way. And so it always really starts in a way that is connection forward and not scary forward. And so sometimes when we talk about, actually a lot of times we talk about predators, we talk about online grooming and strangers and stranger danger, we talk about it from a space of like scary and those nighttime, what are those TV shows where like people are getting kidnapped and bad things are happening and it's like super scary and this eerie music. That's genuinely not how it starts. And it's like a think of it like a abusive relationship, right? The person gives you so much love and attention and care and whatever, and then they start pulling back. They start making you feel uncomfortable, and it makes you feel like you start giving excuses to the person, like, oh, like maybe they didn't mean it, or I don't know if they meant to say that, or it's totally normal, everyone is doing that. And so it becomes quite normalized for your kids to have these conversations with them. For instance, right, one of the ways that they talk to kids or normalize what they're trying to do to kids is to share videos that are not age appropriate, right? Explicit videos, adult videos, or they might make adult jokes or innuendos or whatever. And just to make them feel comfortable with talking about things that they shouldn't be talking about with someone who is, they shouldn't be talking about at all, right? Especially in the online sphere, especially with someone you don't know, especially when you are a young kid. And so they normalize those type of conversations just so that when they move towards, oh, this is how I'm feeling, or this is what I saw, or this is what I think, or this is what I'm into, it's like completely normalized and completely normal for that to be a conversation, right? Your kid is not thinking that's a red flag. Everyone talks about this, everyone is thinking about this, everyone sends pictures, everyone saw that video, everyone, has these feelings. And while it's important to normalize, puberty, feelings, emotions, attraction, that type of stuff, actually I highly recommend looking into a channel called Kathleen Hema. It's not a channel called, but it's a woman. Her name is Kathleen Hema, and she runs a YouTube channel, and she talks about age appropriate conversations, modern day talks with your kids. It's so important to do that, because if your kids are not having that conversation normally, right, with you, and they don't understand certain things, they're going to be having it with somebody else that they have met online or somebody in school, and then that conversation goes to online. It happens in the group chat. And so if you really want to protect your kids online, you have to stop thinking that you have to start the conversation with, here's all the bad about the internet, here's what you're doing wrong about the internet. The number one way kids are targeted online is because they don't feel comfortable talking to their parents about this. They don't feel comfortable saying what is going on in the online sphere. So if you want to protect them from predators, if you want them to not feel like they have to hide things, then you have to normalize normal conversations, good, bad, ugly, and beautiful. Don't make every single conversation about online safety about what they shouldn't be doing, or kids, you're spending so much time on your phone, or it's brain rot, or you should be doing something else, you need to be getting outside, because that becomes a point of contention, and your kids are not going to trust you and want to talk to you about the good that's happening. Because most likely, imagine if you're talking about something you love, and then every single time you talk about something you love, someone goes, well, you can get an injury from that, something bad can happen from that, and they could be right. You're playing, I don't know, football, you're playing soccer, you're playing tennis, you're playing golf. I mean, things can happen. You're outside, you can get injured. But is that something that you want to say every single time someone brings up an activity that they love doing? You see what I'm saying? Hi, welcome. Let me know if you have any questions. And so it's so important that you normalize just having these, just like, oh, you experience this, oh, this is what you love to do, oh, you love watching this YouTuber, this streamer, this is what you love doing online, the funny video that you saw. Because if your kids don't feel comfortable talking to you about normal things, why would they ever talk to you about something bad that happened online, especially if what you're bringing up makes them feel defensive, right? And so that is what leads into kids talking to people online that don't mean well to them. Not every person they meet online is going to be a bad person. There are plenty of kids that have met phenomenal other kids, age-appropriate conversations, and have developed lifelong friendships, or even just for a couple of years, a seasoned friendship, and really benefited from that. So not every person they meet online is gonna be a bad person. So understanding that, communicating that with your kids, making sure they understand that you know that they know that you know that not everyone they meet online is gonna be terrible, then that's when you can start having effective conversations. That's when you can have the conversations about, hey, you know what? I actually experienced someone making me feel uncomfortable. Like, I'm not just trying to tell you this because I don't trust you or I think that, you're just a kid or whatever. No, you're talking to your kid from a point of view of like, I'm human, you're human, sugar honey iced tea happens, and I just want to let you know, here's what I have dealt with it. Like, this is what I did. This is what I wish I knew as a kid. Like, talking about your own experiences can help build a sense of trust and connection and safety between you and your child. So it's not feeling like, oh my God, I am like the kid and I don't know anything and my parents don't trust me and da 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 da. No, it's more like, oh wow, like my parent, my mom, my dad, my uncle, my cousin, my whatever, right? They experience things like this too. Maybe they didn't grow up with TikTok or Instagram, right? Maybe they didn't grow up with YouTube, but still they understand these things and they can get me on some sort of level. You don't need to know everything about, I don't know, Roblox, Discord, anything, any app that they're on. You need to know a lot more about your kid and a lot more about yourself and to connect with them through that so that your kid does not feel like the only way that they can feel safe, the only way that they can have normal conversations without it turning into like, I don't know, something crazy, is that they have to talk to some crazy person online. You see what I'm saying? Thank you, Minna. Yes. Yeah, my entire channel is helping parents protect their kids online. So if you want more of this, if you want me to talk more about this, let me know. I'm obviously going to talk more about this, but if you have a specific topic that you want, let me know. My entire channel is helping protect kids online. And the other channel that I mentioned that I highly recommend you go and subscribe to is Kathleen Hema. It's with a K, right? You said, yeah, I mean, there are any people here that aren't crazy. Exactly. There are so many people that are crazy. There's so many people that aren't crazy. There are people that have met the love of their lives, their best friend, a job opportunity, like so many things. The internet space is just the world, okay? The world is like big and vast. And the internet space is big and vast. And so the less that we're like, oh, the internet is horrible and you being on the internet and scrolling on social media is brain rot, the more likely you're able to connect with your kids. Okay, so today, I need you to stop alienating your kids when you're talking to them. And that's why I created the Protect Kids Online Resource Library. In the library, I have like conversation starters, movies to watch with your kids, like how to have these conversations where it doesn't feel like you're interrogating your kids and telling them that everything that they love about the internet is wrong, okay? So that is what I mentioned in the beginning. The number one way that predators get to your kids is that your kids are disconnected from themselves, disconnected from you, and they are seeking connection in places and moving through the uncomfortable feelings they're having in order to have that connection because they don't feel safe talking to you. They don't feel safe talking maybe to the friends that they know in their school, right? And so it's really, really important that if your kids are online and they're experiencing a lot of the online world, you are there with them every step of the way. You said online has always been unsafe and should be avoided at all costs. I mean, it's hard to say that to your kids if you yourself are on YouTube or you yourself are on Instagram or you yourself are doing something else, right? And so if at all possible, I agree that you should wait for as long as possible. Hey, Pamela, wait as long as possible to get your kids Instagram or to get your kids TikTok or a phone or whatever, because it just makes it much easier for you to not have to open up those can of worms, right? So I agree with you there in terms of waiting for as long as possible before you get your kids a device so that you can skip a lot of other things, right? I mean, here's the thing. I am a big believer in creating the space that you want, right? And I believe that talking to your kids about that is one of the best things you could ever do, right? And so if you're experiencing the horrible side of the internet, is there a side of the internet that you do want to experience, right? Is there a side of the internet that will be more beneficial to you? I remember I did this workshop for teens in California, and I was talking to them about dream scrolling versus doom scrolling. There is a lot of doom and gloom and sugar and iced tea on the internet. And then there's a lot of dreams and inspiration, aspirations, and learning and all of the things that you can do on the internet. Case in point, on YouTube. You buy something, you don't know how to fix it up, you can get on YouTube. You want to learn a new skill, YouTube. You want to learn a language, YouTube, right? So the internet is everything everywhere all at once. And no, I have not watched a movie. I did start the first 10 minutes and I was like so confused and I left. So I think I need to finish the movie. But anyways, and so if your kid is going to be online, which most likely they are, I would highly recommend steering away from having conversations that the internet is all horrible. Because again, your kids are internalizing that and thinking, okay, if they think it's horrible and they think it's the worst thing ever and they're going to freak out if I tell them something, I don't want to tell them anything. You don't want your kids to feel sneaky, feel like they have to be sneaky or go around things, right? So very, very important that you have your kids understand that they can create the world that they want to create, and crazy stuff is going to slip through the cracks. Your friend is going to share something, the algorithm is going to send you some like engagement bait or whatever, and you're going to get pissed off and it's going to ruin your whole mood, and that happens. So how can you teach your kids to self-regulate, right? How can you teach your kids to okay, you're feeling like this, you can take a deep breath, hold for 4, in for 4, out for 4. You can take a walk, you can dance, you can run around, you can do whatever, right? You can do something that helps you regulate, that helps you calm down, that helps you feel safer within your body, those type of things. That's when understanding how to deal with the internet really works. Because guess what? All of these tools help your kids outside of the internet. It's just not the online world. It's also the offline world. So again, if you're trying to protect your kids online, everything you're doing to give them a happy, healthy, joyful life will protect them online. That is my whole point of view. That's my entire channel. I do not believe in saying the internet is the most horrible place in the world, because we're on the internet, you're watching me, I'm watching you. There has to be some type of value you're getting from this video to be watching this far, right? Or to be logging in. There's some value you got on the internet. And so if you can't connect to that, it's going to be much harder for you to understand how to protect your kids in the online space. That is all I'm saying. That's the basis of the safe method: safe spaces, accountability, fun, and empathy. Nowhere in there is fear and bogging down and doom and horrible and yeah. Are the things on the internet horrible, dooming, crazy things happening? Absolutely, freaking yes, 100%. All over the world, every neighborhood, every crevice of the internet, there's something crazy, okay? You post a nice little video and someone's upset, okay? I can be like, I love Zevia, which I absolutely do love Zevia, and someone's like, creamy root beer, oh my God, did you know that creamy root beer can, like, there's always something. And you know what? Fine, it's humans. That's just, it is what it is. How can I create my space on the internet where I'm preserving my joy? How can you teach your kids to do that? How can we as a society decide, you know what? I can't control that someone doesn't like creamy root beer and thinks it's the horrible thing in the world. I can't control that someone doesn't like to be on YouTube. But you know what I can control? I can control my emotions about it. You know what your kids can control? They can control how they feel about what other people are saying about them. Well, you know what your kids can control? The things that they say about themselves. That is how you protect your kids online. That is the number one way to protect your kids online, to empower them, to give them the confidence to stay safe, especially in the digital world. I'm Cyber Farida. I am an award-winning Forbes 30 under 30 internet safety expert. I have a background in cybersecurity awareness and threat intelligence, and I have spent my entire formative years gaming online and talking to strangers and the good and bad and ugly of the internet. So my main goal here is to help you protect your kids online. I also work with organizations and communities doing workshops and keynotes and anything necessary, collaborations, partnerships, initiative projects to help parents protect their kids online. So if you're a part of an organization, part of a community that needs this, go head to cyberfarida, just my name here, .com, and then click on work with me, because I would love to work with you. Until next time, bye.